So you worked as a carpenter and janitor before turning pro, and you had 9 amateur fights.
No, 10.
10? Which one was your favorite? Does one stick out?
Well, amateur.
Yeah, before turning pro.
I ain't gonna lie, I had some naughty knockouts, some flying knee, some uppercuts. I've had a lot of knockouts in amateur. I had 9 finishes and 1 decision in my amateur. So there was a lot of knockouts in amateur, and I reckon my flying knee was my favorite one.
Yeah, and you talked about the kids. So, like, what would the best piece of advice you would give to a kid trying to get into MMA?
You've got to be consistent, and you can't. When the kids in the gym now say you can't allow life to get to you. And people say, "What do you mean?" Life gonna get your friend gonna want you to come out. You might meet a girl. You might start drinking. Like all of these things are life that's happening around you. You want to experience it, and you can't at times. You gotta put that on hold and stay focused and understand MMA is a long game. So you might not be successful your first fight or second fight. If you keep on it and keep working and keep in the gym, you get somewhere, and that's the game, yeah.
Okay. You wrestled at Seton Hill for a year. What did you learn the most about that year by yourself?
Wrestling is the hardest sport in the world. It tests your mental toughness, your grit, physical toughness, everything. And I think that's a huge advantage that I have in this fight. Not just the wrestling prowess or the accolades or the experience, technique, all that stuff, but there's things that go beyond that. And there's places he would never be able to go because he didn't wrestle. And I think for a 7-week camp, sure, he's been working on his fucking takedown defense and all this other shit, but he's not going to catch up in 7 weeks to what I did my whole entire life.
Mm-hmm. And I kind of want to ask you, because after that you went to Youngstown State. I'm from Ohio. I know Newcastle's about 15 miles from the border there.
Yep.
You were supposed to play football there, right? Correct?
Yeah, I played football for a year.
Yeah, and then, so can you kind of talk about that experience, and then when did you kind of shift? Did you shift to Youngstown State to MMA there, or when that kind of happened?
Yeah, so I ended up having a knee injury, a second knee injury within like 6 months of each other on the same knee, same thing tore over again, and after that, that was kind of the end of my football career, and I transitioned into MMA from there. From there, I started training jiu-jitsu again, boxing a couple days a week, and after like 1 month, 2 months of training, I got my first fight, and that first 18 months as an amateur, I got 7 amateur MMA fights and 8 amateur boxing matches, went undefeated, had all finishes in MMA, and 7 of 8 of my boxing matches were finishes as well. So in an 18-month span, I had 15 fights, and my first one was 1 month, 2 months after training, and that's whenever I got the call from Bellator, and I signed with Bellator after an 18-month amateur career, straight into the pro, straight into the big league, right as an amateur. So I think that speaks for itself. Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Yep.
Sullivan, I had a question. So you wrestled at Arizona State. We have like a lot of high school athletes that watch. What's the best piece of advice you would give to someone going through like the college recruiting process or want to play a college sport?
So someone that wants to play a college sport.
I know it's from a while back.
I guess if you're going through the recruiting process, meaning that you want to you make contact with schools.
Mm-hmm.
I would say having a coach that at your high school who likes you and can vouch for your character, reaching out to these coaches, and sending them a tape, sending them transcripts, whatever, and saying, hey, I got a guy, he's good, I can vouch for his character. He's going to drink the Kool-Aid and buy into the program. That was a big part of the reason that I got my scholarship to Arizona State, because I had a coach in high school, Coach Howell, who went to bat for me.
Yeah, and I want to talk about like the mental side of the game. What's like you're always trying to improve that. Like, what's one thing you did like this camp to try to improve that side?
Yeah, I've done a lot. I work with a mental coach in Al Fuentes. We do a lot of meditation and just talk sessions to work through stuff. And I think the biggest thing for me is like keeping it all in perspective, meaning that like you are playing a sport here. I know it's like you start attaching things like college and at my level money to it. It's it's work. It gets serious, but it's like you need to realize that you're playing a sport, which is fun. And if you lose track of the fun, the performance will suffer.
Thank you.
No problem.
Yeah, I want to continue with like kind of the flashbacks. So your wrestling backgrounds, your skills. Can you talk about your favorite memory representing your country at the World Wrestling Championships?
What again?
Like wrestling for.
Твой любимый момент, когда ты выступал за сборную, за свою страну, ты можешь вспомнить твой любимый момент?
I remember in 2007 in cadets World Games in Trabzon. That was at that moment, that was one of my best experience in my national team. I took the silver at that time, and that was very crazy experience for me because, you know, I was born in a very small city, and we don't have a very good condition for training sessions. Our gym was a little bit smaller than this room, and when you feel that from so small room without a great condition for training sessions, you can become like silver medalist in so high events. You start to problem yourself with your gym, and you understand that it doesn't matter what's going on around you. If you believe in your dream, one day this dream will become true.
Thank you.